we are inching closer to the first round of the NFL draft. Brian at Campus Martius, where Detroit is gearing up for a big night and a big year ahead. B.
Already seen a lot of people here with Lions jerseys, Glenda. In just 1 year, all of the excitement they are having in Kansas City right now will be here in Campus Martius at the heart of Detroit. And tonight we are joined by the sports director from our Scripps sister station KSHB, Mick Schaefer. Mick, this is where I used to work before coming here, KSHB, so it's such a treat to get to talk with you. 2.5 hours from the draft kicking off there, so what is the atmosphere like right now?
It's unbelievable, Brian. Look, I mean, traveling the draft on the road, it's a relatively new thing, right? And so many people haven't traveled to it, haven't been to a draft before. It's not like it's a big game or something like that most of us have experienced. It's something that very few of us have experienced. I was able to go to my first one last year in Las Vegas, and I couldn't believe the scene. It is like a 3-day party, and in Kansas City, it's the same. People started lining up yesterday just to get into the draft experience today, 12 hours in advance. And it's such a huge area here. You mentioned all the Detroit Lions fans. My photographer over here, Darius, he's from Detroit. He's pulling over every time we see the light blue and the silver jerseys. Detroit Lions fans all over the place because they want to get a sneak peek of what's coming to their city next year.
Well, make sure to tell Darius hello for me, a good friend. How has this city prepared? What's the fan experience been like there?
It's been a 4-year ordeal of looking forward to this thing and making sure, first of all, they've got it in the right place, right? Because there are only so many locations in a downtown city where you can have enough space to accommodate everybody, where you have the backdrop that looks good on television but also looks good in person as well, and you have all the logistics that you can. I was counting earlier, there are at least a dozen production trucks, right, just feeding this thing, broadcasting it out, and that's just one of the aspects of this draft. So there's so many moving parts, and it really takes 4 years to get it done. But we've got a tremendous sports commission here in Kansas City. They got us the World Cup. It's coming in 2026. We're the smallest city to host World Cup matches coming up in 2026. It's because of them. And I think a large part, too, the NFL came here because of the legacy of the ownership of the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar Hunt, what he meant to this league, and now Clark Hunt continuing that legacy. I know you guys have a similar history with the league up there in Detroit.
Yeah, and for the folks at home, there is a little bit of a delay between us, Mick. But, hey, the Chiefs, they're coming off of a Super Bowl win. The Lions, one of the favorites for this season as well. So do you foresee a potential Super Bowl matchup this year?
I mean, Darius tells me, right, they're a favorite every single year for the Super Bowl. I've yet to see it. I've yet to believe it. But it's been really cool, right? The two biggest events of the Super Bowl of the NFL year have involved Kansas City this year. I was in Phoenix for the Super Bowl. They were able to beat the Eagles, win their third Super Bowl title. And now the biggest event of the offseason, the NFL draft, just a couple months later here in Kansas City. It's the first time ever outside of New York teams that a city has won the Super Bowl and hosted the NFL draft in the same calendar year. So, I mean, nobody here is taking that for granted, and I think we're going to see that in the crowds here the next few days. They're expecting over 300,000 people show up at this draft.
All right, Mick, maybe some substance for the first time this year with that matchup. Mick Schaefer from our sister station at KSHB in Kansas City. Thank you so much for joining us. And be sure to tune in tonight for the first round of the NFL Draft. It all starts at 8 right here on 7.